You're in tune to Out of Lives. www.outoflives.net.
Can't handle the truth.
Hello and welcome. We're live and unedited. I'm Scott Sedman, and today I'm joined by Ross Miller.
Hello.
David Wyatt.
Penis.
And Kev's dying, but we're still out of lives. So, everyone, how is everyone? Good?
Wow, that was a bit of a kerfuffle, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a special day. It's been a special day.
A special day.
I feel like divine intervention's a real thing with this podcast right now. But
explain why we're live.
Well, first of all, Kevin came down with the plague. True story. He's actually in hospital right now, and our thoughts and prayers are with him.
Is it the 11th plague or whatever Dave said in his fact?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's exactly that. Yeah.
Plague of armadillos hanging off his nipples.
Yeah. It's pretty disturbing, actually. You don't want to see the pictures he sent us. And then, just Ross's computer broke, my power went off in the house. It was a kerfuffle. But we're here now, so the highlight of the week, we'll start with you, Dave.
Highlight of the week, it's difficult because I've got about 5, but...
We'll pick one.
I'm
Generally how highlight of the week works.
Yeah, again, it was going to be Pokemon, but then I actually got round to finishing The Leftovers Season 2, so that's my highlight of the week.
I'm so glad that's a highlight of your week.
Yeah. I struggled in the beginning of the series. It definitely gets better, but it's just the weirdest thing on TV at the minute. But
Yeah.
good weird. Weird like Lost was when it was good.
Ah, right, okay. I mean, is it like Season 1 where it was just boring at the start and then kind of got good?
Yeah, kind of. I wasn't a massive fan of the first series. I liked it, but the second series is definitely better.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
It as much as it doesn't answer the questions you have, it gives you a whole lot of new ones. So, but there's some really great scenes in it. There's really great imagery in it. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a scene where I guess it's like a death hallucination that he has for a whole episode. That's just amazing.
That's cool.
One of the best episodes of TV I've seen in ages, and yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. It's getting a 3rd season now as well. That's probably what pushed me to watch the 2nd one.
All right, well that's good. And then Ross, what's your highlight of the week?
Well, it's probably been talked about quite a lot recently, but it's Making a Murderer.
Ah, yes, it's been talked about between us quite a lot recently. You, Kevin, Dave, don't shut up about it.
Yeah, there's not been a TV programme in a long time that I've physically shouted at my TV that I just didn't want to stop watching as much as that. I was genuinely excited about getting in from work, not to play games, but to sit and watch Making a Murderer, and that's rare for me, and I'm gutted that it's over.
I mean, the thing is, there was that petition in the White House commenting on it, but I'm still not doing anything. But there's a counter documentary coming out about it, stuff like the Making a Murderer left out. There's someone else doing a thing where it's no, this is why he's in jail or something. I can't remember the exact specifics of it, but
that was my only complaint with that series. As much as it's really, really good, is it was almost a bit too biased.
Yeah.
I wanted a bit more from their point of view, even if they are a bunch of lying arseholes.
I think there is something coming out which is that. So I know there's definitely something in the works for the others, to do with him and some stuff that the documentary left out. Well, Making a Murderer.
The thing about modern documentaries, though, right? They can have such an impact. Look at the impact that Blackfish has had on SeaWorld.
God, I mean, they've have to drastically rethink their business model because of Blackfish. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want them to do a counter documentary from the goldfish's point of view, because I think the whales, shit, but you never hear about the goldfish.
Are the goldfish at SeaWorld?
Goldfish run SeaWorld.
Okay, I'm going to move on from that back to Making a Murderer. But I think this could have some repercussions in the American legal system.
Hopefully, because it's all corrupt. Corruption needs to be overthrown. Anarchy for the win. Out of Lives does not endorse anarchy, by the way. Just going out there. So yeah, Captain News.
You not didn't do your highlight of the week?
I moved back home. That's my highlight of the week. Nah, in all seriousness, I got out full. That was good. No, I've been putting a hell of a lot of time into Final Fantasy Type 0. Such a good game, and it's just such a time sink, and I love it, but I'm getting nowhere with it, and I'm like 40 hours into that game, and it's just grinding and killing and stuff, and then people die, but they don't die. It's very confusing, and it's all the Final Fantasy JRPG goodness that I wanted. So yeah, that was my highlight of the week. So Captain News!
Yes.
What's in the news this week?
Wow. It's been a bit difficult because the news has changed a few times since we initially set out to record it now, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. Skip the headlines because we're live and I can't put the bongs in. Unless you want to do the bongs.
I'll do the bongs.
Alright then. Go on then. You start.
Oh, I thought I was actually doing a real bong, but no. Okay. Boing.
Star Wars Return of the Lucas.
Boing.
Del Toro defends the dead.
Boing.
Mad Max calms down.
Caw-caw.
Oculus miffed.
Boing.
MMORPG DC Xbox One.
Boing.
You know what grinds my gears?
Boing.
The robots are revolted.
Bong.
Ah, that works so much better when we got Kev doing the audio.
We improvised, okay? So yeah, let's start off with the first news article, Dave.
So, a petition's been launched to bring George Lucas back to the Star Wars franchise. Yuri Luis of Sao Paulo?
It's Brazil.
Yeah, has called for Lucasfilm to bring George Lucas back to direct a future Star Wars movie. He's calling for Lucas, the father of the franchise, to be given the job of directing Star Wars Episode 9, which is a movie the Jurassic World helmer Colin Trevorrow is already set to make.
Did he see the prequels?
I'm assuming so. It's got over 20,000 names on it. That was when I wrote this, and that was 3 or 4 days ago.
See, as much as I don't want this to be a thing, I understand where he's coming from. Obviously, he started it. He should. But the thing is, episode 9's not going to be end. Like, end of episode 9 isn't going to be the end at all. Like,
no, definitely not.
if you think episode 9's the end, you're silly. I don't know. Like, to be fair, seeing what he did with the prequels and seeing what JJ did with episode 7, like, I know Ryan Johnson's episode 8, I'm not worried about at all, and Colin Trevorrow did Safe No Guarantee. No, leave the new guys to do it, like, because they all bring something different. Like, we've seen this will be the 5th one if he did episode 9. We don't want to see an old man's take on Star Wars. Like, I don't. I want to see fresh new blood coming in and doing it.
I am interested to see what his original sort of plots were.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. But like, that's the thing. Like, it's not even his story, is it? So he would literally be coming into someone else's story.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think he's just like, who is this emo prick?
I like the emo prick.
So da.
Misa want a sequel.
Yeah. I don't know, would he want to come back to Star Wars?
I don't think he would, to be honest. I think he's done. He got rid of it, didn't he? He gave all the money to charity, pretty much. He's a happy man.
The amount of backlash and hate he's got over the years, I wouldn't want to come back. I'd be like, nah, I've made my money. I've made some good films. I've made some,
like, maybe a spin-off or something. Like, it's like one of his original visions for something. Maybe do that with it. But just not main series now. I think the time's passed for him to do that. He could have done it when he earned it. He didn't. It's time for the new blood to get involved and do it.
Cool. Okay, moving on. Pacific Rim 2. I know you love it, Scott.
I love Pacific Rim so much.
Guillermo del Toro says the sequel is not cancelled.
Again.
Yeah. So he says this in a tweet. He says, "Don't believe everything you read. It's still going, and I'll remain with it in one way or another." So
I want to believe it's not dead, but this is the second time we've heard it's dead, and it's the second time he's denied it being dead. Like, the only hope this has now is because Legendary got bought by that Chinese company. The only hope is if that Chinese company say make that movie, because it did well in China, so maybe that is the one bit of hope it's got left. Otherwise, I'm not holding out hope. If it doesn't happen, I'm not going to be disappointed anymore. I
I'm
was at
genuinely-
first, but
I'm genuinely not bothered.
Dave, it's a giant robot fighting a giant monster.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I thought it was the only one that thought Pacific Rim was just, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it. Like, I went to the cinema and I walked out thinking that was fun. But
I
like,
loved it. I still love it. So good.
I mean, I couldn't tell you a character's name in that film now. I couldn't tell you a single scene from it.
How could you not say a single scene? There's a bit where he's in space and he falls to earth. There's a bit
don't
where
remember that.
the shipboat sword thing where he just uses a giant ship as a sword.
No, see, honestly, I need to watch it again. I think because I do not remember a single scene from that movie, and I've definitely seen it.
The striker bit where they're both on top of it and he fires a flare into the kaiju's eye because he's a badass.
Mm.
And it's such a pretty movie as well. It's such a pretty movie. You can watch that movie and like on a 4K telly and just be like, this is what dreams are made of.
Anyway, yeah, not really fussed about that. Another film that supposedly dead. Let's go. Fury Road director George Miller says, "I do not want any more Mad Max films." Well, when I did this,
That's what he had said.
That's
what was being reported.
Yeah, it's since come out that he's actually been misquoted a little bit, and that's not what he said. He just didn't want to do it next. But yeah, so it's not really news, but I've still got it on my list.
I think it is interesting because this is and to go back to some films that most people don't like Michael Bay, like he's come out recently and said that like all they want to do is franchise movies and stuff, and like you get these directors who do these like. I want to say great, but I know in my heart of heart they're not great. Enjoyable movies, enjoyable franchise movies, and then you get like Michael Bay goes and does what's he doing? 13 Hours right now. We did something else before Age of Extinction. Like he goes and does his pet projects and stuff. I think that's more of a recharge thing, and I think that's like obviously Mad Max Fury Road was amazing and insanely good, and everyone likes that movie. Everyone loves that movie. Like, but the toll it must have taken on a 70-year-old director. Like, I understand him wanting to go and do something small before revving up again and probably tackling the Mad Max universe, whether it be Furiosa or just a continuation.
Don't like Charlize Theron. I mean, it's
not an awkward name.
It's been nominated for a couple of Oscars, hasn't it? Mad Max.
Yeah, the nominations are coming and it's leading it. Well,
10 nominations, didn't it? Best Picture.
It's not going to win Best Picture.
It was a great movie, but I don't think it'll win Best Picture either. But I thought it was really strange when they said that he was not going to do any more, especially since he's been so vocal about wanting to do more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But the actual quote is something along the lines of he wants to do something small, like like his next project isn't going to be Mad Max, but he will do Mad Max again, hopefully.
Yeah.
We all want to see a new Mad Max movie, I think. Like, I think everyone that I know that's seen it really enjoyed it. It was fast-paced, it was fun, the story was good. I want to see it as soon as possible.
I'd want to see it, but I want it to be more Mad Max. Like, as much as I loved Fury Road and I like Furiosa, I just kind of... you know what I mean? I want to see more what they can do with Tom Hardy in the role as Mad Max.
It's such an interesting world. I want to see more of it.
Yeah.
But why is that not getting no cinematic universe? Everything fucking else is getting it.
Well, I assume if they make a Furiosa movie, they will be doing a cinematic universe.
Yeah, I want to see that little kid from the, what was that feral kid called in Mad Max 3 back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Well, I want to see what he's up to.
Smoking some weed, probably. Next up, Dave.
The Oculus Rift is coming out in March, and it will cost £499 in the UK.
It's a lot of money.
So the package includes a headset, the headset, not just any old headset. The headset, a remote, the cables, an Xbox One controller, and 2 compatible games, which are Eve Valkyrie and Lucky's Tale.
Eve Valkyrie is amazing, though. Like, obviously not played it personally, but everyone who's played it said it's possibly like one of the best VR games that you can play. So
yes, but
for that to get thrown in for free,
you've also got to have a rig that can handle that.
That's very true.
So you're looking at well over £1,000 to be jumping into Oculus at the minute.
I personally think that the price point is out of reality.
Hey.
As this podcast seasoned VR expert.
Yeah, this podcast VR season expert, what he was trying to say. I don't know, like, what we've been hearing is that this is very cheap for high-end VR. I don't know if you saw about it. The Vibe is meant to be costing $1,500. So maybe this is cheap. Like,
well, I mean, previously he said it could be somewhere in the ballpark of $350. Close to the That's not distracting. So,
I just.
yeah,
Was that, Ross?
I think we've lost Ross.
This is what's happened when it's live and unedited. My microphone starts to break.
Hello, Ross is back. But
Ross, who has the most expensive mic out of all of us, has the most trouble with it. Just pointing that out.
Yeah.
So, Ross, what was you saying before you got rudely interrupted by your microphone?
I can't remember.
The resident VR expert.
So you've not heard
reality.
me since then? Oh my goodness. Right, okay, so I think the price point is on point with an Apple device. You pay that for an iPhone, so why not would you pay it for VR?
I think we have to look at it this way as well. Like, Sony's going to come in. Sony's VR headset's going to be lower than when the Oculus price point. I think that's a given at this point.
You hope.
If Sony's higher than that, they're not going to sell. They're just not. Especially not in the UK, because 500 seems to be like, no. Plus, obviously, you'd have to get the PS4 and stuff. I mean, I think, realistically, if Sony are looking to probably launch at 300, 400, and I think that's probably going to be where they land. And if they can bring it down even more, that's awesome, but VR looks like it's going to be very difficult for the first couple of years. But I think it has enough dedicated people who want to get in on it to where it will succeed. Like, you think about it, like, the next iteration of Oculus bumps down the version of Oculus we have now. PCs always get better and become cheaper because obviously they keep improving. So in 2 years' time, an Oculus isn't going to be what it is now because this is new tech. So
yeah, but
if it can last, it will succeed.
So apparently they're not making much money on this at £500. So it's going to be at that price for a while.
Yeah, but I'm saying to get a decent machine to run it isn't going to be that expensive in a year's time.
Fair enough.
And you might see, as more stuff gets made for Oculus, that they can bundle Oculus with something. So that 500 price point might get bundled with more games or something. You know what I mean? Like,
I think a lot of people are going to wait for Gen 2 as such. Like, as in,
I probably will.
Yeah.
I think that's when I'll jump in for the actual Oculus stuff. I'm going to jump in on PSVR if I can. But the Oculus for sure. Like, once it's all been completely tried out and true, then I think that's when I'll jump in.
See, I've not had massive amounts of experience with VR. I think I've mentioned it in the past, a couple of devices I have tried, and every single one has made me sick as a dog. So I needed to somehow them to work for me before I get on board, because if it's going to keep making me sick.
See, VR, I loved. I've talked about this in the podcast before. I played Isolation with it, and it was phenomenal. Like,
did you get no motion sickness at all?
No.
It's me then.
The only thing that I sort of noticed is I turned at one point to look away, and the guy that was like assisting, I sort of bumped into him.
And did Ross crap himself?
No, not really. But did I tell you I tried to get myself killed in that demo as quick as possible because I just wanted it to end? I was that scared with the alien chasing after me. But no, I bumped into the guy, and so I touched something that I couldn't see.
And then it kind of broke the immersion.
Yes, because you break and you sort of touch something invisible.
Yeah.
And then, I was just like, that broke it for me. But,
not with the Oculus itself, but there's obviously all that stuff with haptic feedback. Like, if I know you can get it where if you wear a body pack and if you get shot or something, it gives you an electric shock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it just depends how immersed you want to get into it. Because I mean, there's the treadmill thing for when you're running and stuff. So it is possible now to probably completely immerse yourself in a game now. which is spookily, like, it's scary how thing is. But I think we should talk about more on that later, Ross.
Yeah, so what we're announcing this now. Next week you've got yourself a little special show. It's going to be a new monthly show called Out of Reality. We're going to have some special guests, and it's going to be an entire podcast dedicated to VR coming out monthly.
Yeah. So, and we have some great guests lined up. Like,
Oh yeah.
we are not lying. Like, this is exciting stuff for VR, for us, and for everyone who's listening.
I'm going to be on it. That's how great it is.
I've not asked you.
I'm one of the special guests.
We didn't say that you were allowed on it, Dave.
Oh, what?
To be fair, Scott, I never said you were allowed on either.
That's
so,
true.
Anyway, let's
look,
move on.
We're buddies, okay, Roth. What happened in that hotel room?
No, right, not enough of that. Right, Dave, the next item.
Sony's former MMO studio is bringing DC Universe Online to the Xbox One. So this came from what was
Sony Online Entertainment?
Yeah, and is now Daybreak. Is that right?
Yeah.
Have I read that round? I've written it down the wrong way on my notes. Yeah, they've announced that they will be bringing what has been on. It's been on it for 5 years now. It's been a PS exclusive. I don't know. It's on PC as well.
Yeah, it's been on PS. It started on PS3. Well, I mean, it didn't start on PS3, but it came to PS3, obviously.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, well, it's obviously not going into Xbox because it's Sony, but since they split from Sony, everyone was kind of hoping this happened. I wasn't expecting it to be DC Online, to be honest. I was expecting it to be H1Z1 or PlanetSide that came to Xbox One first.
Which
but
they are
good
still
news.
coming, aren't they? H1Z1's coming, isn't it?
I'm
sure
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure
it
they
is.
said it was.
Is it a free-to-play game?
Yeah,
Yes. I've tried it. It's all right.
it's a good MMO. Like compared to the other MMOs out there that are free to play, like it's fair. It's a fair MMO, and if you want to put
Actually,
money
have you tried Neverwinter? That's actually quite good on Xbox One.
I haven't tried that on Xbox One. No.
That's really good. But yeah, DC Universe Online was fun. I didn't play much because I was borrowing someone's PlayStation, so I didn't actually have the time to invest. But I would probably give it a go. What?
Yeah.
But no, I was literally about to download. I was looking at what was available on the PlayStation Store. I downloaded Loadout, and I saw DC Universe Online was there, and I was like, huh, do I want to get into that? And then, like, literally a day later, the news broke that it was coming to Xbox One. I was like, I'm just going to play it on Xbox One, where I play all my games pretty much. Like, the only reason I have a PS4 is for exclusives and VR. So,
We should.
yeah,
we
this is
should
good.
play
We
stuff.
should have an
You can be my
the Out
Robin.
of Heroes. Yeah, the Out of Heroes will be formed on the DC Universe Online. It'd be pretty cool.
The most interesting part of that is that their other titles. This is a good sign that their other titles are going to come to Xbox One. But haven't they also announced that Greg Miller's going to be Superboy in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Well then.
Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Awesome news. Yeah, cool. Awesome.
Moving on. Gears of War 4. The release date has moved forward.
Yes.
So during a live stream broadcasted a couple of days ago, representatives from Microsoft confirmed that the Gears of War 4 may launch sooner than expected.
Me.
It'd be better if it was like bad news and I could just go, oh hell no.
Wow, that sounded quite on the money there, Ross.
It was initially expected for holiday 2016, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
now
Wait,
it's,
so when does it mean that it's coming out for us then?
well, it's looking at fall,
So August, September time?
sort of September time.
Well, it
would
won't be
my guess.
September. September will be their racing game.
Oh, October maybe then.
Yeah, but that's
It'll be the same
holiday.
Windows Halo, I would imagine, this year.
Ah, right, okay. But is that not holiday?
No,
No,
holiday is sort of December, isn't it?
November, I would
Ah,
say.
right, okay. Either way, if we get Gears in October, that's awesome. But what does that? They must be announcing something. No, because Crackdown's multiplayer is out this year, but not the full game. They have to announce something at E3 for November this year.
I wouldn't be surprised. Could be.
Yeah.
Because Scalebound's delayed now, which I was so upset about. That game needed to be improved from what we saw.
Anyone else think that they should have maybe just kept Quantum Break for later in the year?
I don't know if they moved that back any further, I'm just going to
I
give
want
up
to play
hope.
it. I want to play it so badly.
Yeah.
Like selfishly, no, they shouldn't. They just shouldn't have kept it. But looking at the lineup, maybe. But then again, like E3 this year, it could be a big one. It does seemly like they're going to position themselves to be big. Maybe I don't.
Well, anyone who bought Gears of War Ultimate Edition has something to play in spring, as they will get access to the Gears of War 4 beta.
Yeah.
So
Good.
I've got that because I loaded up the game. I have never played it.
Oh, I still need to play that with you, Dave. We
I
will
know.
play through it.
It's ridiculous. I own every single Gears of War game, and I have never played one.
Oh, that'd be really interesting. Like you going through them all.
Do you
There
want
we
to,
go.
do you want to horde with me, bro?
Yeah, I'll
We
hold
will
you.
hoard at some point. We will
Yeah.
hoard.
I haven't played the Xbox since Christmas Day.
Pets have been a father.
Yeah. Anyway, and the last bit of news I have is Robot Wars is returning to BBC Two.
And what city is it filming in?
Some shithole up north.
Glasgow.
Oh
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Can we get tickets? Can we go? I'm emailing the BBC. I'm emailing the BBC.
Shout out to the Glasgow Duck Hunters, but we will be going together.
I will come to Glasgow to see that.
The problem I have with this is the majority of the robots that are on that show obviously come in on wheels. They'll have no tyres by the time they get to the studio.
You
No,
said
Glasgow's-
Glasgow, not Liverpool.
It's not far off though, is it? Let's be honest.
I thought you were making like they'd run out of tyres joke, but no, you were on about them being stolen because Glasgow's rough as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, so a 6-episode run has been ordered, but there's pretty much no other details. We don't know who's going to be hosting it. I wonder if it'll be Craig Charles. I doubt it.
I doubt it's Craig Charles, but I was talking about this. Could you not just imagine Richard Ayoade doing it? I think it'd be great. I'd
No.
love it so much.
No, I'm not a
Yeah.
massive fan of him, to be honest.
I love him. Moss is like my idol.
He's my spirit animal. I love him so much.
But my spirit animal, sorry, Sophia. No,
What?
they need a new host. It needs new blood. It needs someone different from Sir Kill-A-Lot.
Sergeant Bash, Sir Kill-A-Lot. Come on, they need to be there. The house robots need to be the same. Maybe a couple of new ones.
Yeah, I think one or two of the old ones and a couple
Kill-A-Lot
of new
has to be
ones.
back.
I
Kill-A-Lot
reckon
has
he
to be
will.
back.
They can do away with Matilda. She was a bit shit.
Yeah, Matilda, fuck off. No one wants her.
So
But yeah, I think
with Raspberry Pis and things like that now, I think the technology and the way they're going to do this is going to be so exciting.
I hope that people are a bit more I mean, because when was it?
It run
98?
for 98 to 2004, I think. So it run for 6 years.
It wasn't on the BBC for that long, though, was it? It moved channels at one point.
I probably did.
But nowadays, yeah, I want to see some flying robots. I want to see,
It's a fucking drone with a minigun attached to it.
let's fucking go
Seriously.
around.
Like,
I think
Controlled by VR.
Please,
Yeah.
oh my god, please have like a old school match, like where they bring some of the old school robots back. Like, say you get Hypno Disc and Razor and the Flippy one.
Hypnodisc was awesome.
Like, just imagine having that old school bout. That'd be awesome. I think we'll see some returning robots. Oh, it's so exciting.
It's only getting 6 episodes to begin with. I think if the popularity's there and the viewing's there, it will obviously then spawn off into a full series. With that, I don't think we'll see returning robots in this first
Maybe,
6
yeah.
episodes.
I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. Like you say, like obviously technology has come so far. We will definitely see some different type. Maybe like I'm just so excited. This was like a massive part of my childhood, so I'm very excited to see what they do, bringing it back 12 years later. Jesus Christ, 12 years.
I know.
Now, I actually think we've got some feedback this week.
Well, if you would kindly read it out, Ross.
No problem. So this comes from Colin Fairs, and it's feedback for Dave Wyatt.
Dave's so popular.
I'll just apologise now then. I'm sorry. For whatever it is I've upset you.
It's actually not upsetting. He says, hello, Out of Lifes. Long-time fan, first-time feedback. He says, Jut got a question, but we'll let my way with it. For Dave Wyatt, references baby and his time for all things gaming related. He's going to be a proud parent come April, and I was wondering what he can do to maximise his time with his console and still spend enough time with the new baby so that social services aren't called. And he wanted to give out his gamer tag, which is Orkman55. So thanks, Colin. Over to you, Dave.
Well, firstly, congratulations on ruining your life. That's no, I'm joking. No, as you heard, not but 10 minutes ago, I haven't actually played the Xbox since Christmas Day. That's not really the baby's fault. I'm also quite busy at work, but I wouldn't worry because the first month they just sleep. So just get some brownie points. Say I'll do the night shifts, stay up, play Xbox. When she wakes up, change nappy, give her a bottle. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, or both. Could be both. And get your gaming in then. It's not until they hit sort of 4 or 5 months that it starts becoming an issue. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. I play a lot of Nintendo 3DS at the minute because then I can play it in bed. I'm just lazy. I could play more Xbox. I'm just always tired. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much.
I remember I play more games now that I have a son than what I ever got an opportunity to before.
It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, put it that way. I had the same fears that, like, this is it, 3 times over. I wouldn't worry about it, honestly. You'll get your time in. To be honest, as for social services getting involved, I mean, just don't duct tape them to the wall like I did. You'll be fine. Sit them on your lap instead of in a cardboard box, that sort of thing. Just use your noggin. That's my advice. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, is there any more feedback, Ross, or is that it for this week?
Yeah, there's one here. It's from Dave Wyatt.
Right.
And it says, for Scott Sedman, and it simply says, you're a prick, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Well, can't please everyone, even if you stick a dick in them. That's the way game chasing goes. I've just thought that. Moving on.
Yep.
We do want to acknowledge that we have lost 2 great people this week. David Bowie and Alan Rickman have both sadly passed away, and both of cancer, I believe. Different types, but still. It's a massive blow, and here at Our Lives, we wish their family our deepest condolences. And we're going to miss them. I mean, Snape is one of the biggest influences as a kid, obviously, with, like, Professor Snape, and David Bowie's music is legendary. So yeah, it's a shame, but
they're both really talented people.
Yeah,
the legacies will live on. Will live on. They're immortalized at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they'll still be playing David Bowie's music in like 50 years' time.
Yeah,
everyone's still gonna know who he is. Let's be honest.
And the Harry Potter films are classics.
Well, I think he's been in better films than Harry Potter, but let's just go with Harry Potter. I mean, Die Hard, come on. That's better than all Harry Potter films combined. Well, he's a great villain. He was in Robin Hood, wasn't he?
Anyway, that wraps us up for this week. Guys, got anything to plug? We'll start with you, Dave.
Not really. You can follow me on Twitter at Captin News. That's CAPTIN. Because it's my name, not my title. Yep. And Xbox, Meaty Fish Man 89. That's it.
Alright, cool. Ross, you got anything to plug? Where can they email in?
They can email into podcast@outoflives.net.
Awesome.
If you have any feedback, so please do.
We love hearing it.
Follow us on Twitter @OutOfLivesPod. You check out Dave's news on the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/outoflivespod. And find me in Grindr.
Beautiful. Couldn't have said it by myself. You can follow me at ScottSedman94 on Twitter. I had to double think about that. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Scott Sedman. Stuff's going to happen on there when I upload it.
You've been saying that for about a year.
I know, but it's a new year. It's a new me. I kid, it's not a new me. It's the same old me. I've still got 1.5 hands. So,
You're going to grow a new hand this year?
We can try, right? We can try. But that's all, and we're out of lives.
Well, one thing, Mo, Dave,
Fuck's sake.
Ross.
I don't know why I'm actually doing this.
Oh crap! Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you have
A fact of the
a
week.
fact for us this week?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Could have mentioned that earlier, Dave. Just wrapped up the show and you didn't mention it.
Well,
Left me hanging.
You're all so down on my facts each week. I wasn't going to mention it.
Well, that's because they're utter bullshit.
Well, this one's not.
But
Well-
you said that last week.
Yeah, and last week, if you remember, we got Scott to fact check it, and he didn't bother. So
That's true. Scott, what was that all about?
Look, there was a guy, and there was another guy, and there was some alcohol involved. And
what was the guy
Flaming Sambuca. It was a mess.
anyway, let's do the fact of the week then, shall we?
Yeah, but just can you make sure that it is correct this time? Because I can't handle the abuse anymore.
I'm glad Kevin's not here because there was many tweets.
Well, it's actually drove him sick.
Yeah.
Right, go for it. I'll put faith in you.
Okay, so I'm sure many of you are aware of the horror comedy video game series Crash Bandicoot. For those that don't, the game featured an anamorphic bandicoot wreaking havoc across the fictional world of the Mushroom Kingdom. Well, the story behind the character itself is far more interesting than the story of his conquests of Westeros. You see, Crash Bandicoot is based on a real person. Yes, I said person. The lead designer on the game based the character on his son Bash Bandicamp. Bash had a rare condition known as carotenemia, which made him orange. The producer of the game forced the Bandicamps to make the changes because he didn't want a handicapped little carrot starring in his game. It also didn't help that Bash was a Nazi.
You're in tune to Out of Live.
Hi all, and we're now joined by IGN's own, or should we say formerly IGN, Luke Karmali. How are we doing?
Hello. Yeah, I'm good, cheers. How are you?
Yeah, I'm absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much for joining us. And we also have along for the ride our Norwegian non-princess, Sophia Harris. How you doing, Sophia? You all right?
I'm excited to be alive.
Glad to hear. So mad, surprisingly. So anyway, you're joining us now for some Duck Hunter Q&A. I suppose.
I am, yes.
Yeah. So I've got some questions from the group, and we might as well get started. But the reason why I say this is today's the day you've actually just left IGN, haven't you?
Yeah, today's the day. So we had our Christmas drinks last night, which is why I look I look rinsed out, and I basically hijacked them for my leaving drinks as well. So yeah, I got in around 3 this morning, and yeah, very very emotional. Like we were all working from home today because we're doing an office move. So yeah, that's it. And we're going to see Star Wars next week, and I said I will see the guys again. But
Yeah.
no, I'm done now. I'm done at IGN.
Are you going to miss IGN then? Is it something?
Yeah, it's one of these weird things because I've just been on holiday and now I've come back. It's kind of felt like I've been gone for a while, but yeah, it still hasn't really sunk in. I think it won't. I don't start my new job till January, and I think until then I'm gonna still believe that I'm a little bit part of the crew. So we'll see. It'll take a while, I think.
Yeah. So I don't know, you know, most of the people who watch us are probably duck hunters and they know your history, but what about a bit about yourself? What is your history before IGN and then up until you joined?
So really, I went to Warwick University and I did English and drama, and then originally I wanted to be an actor, shockingly, and I saw my friends going into it and was like, oh god, I better have a backup for this. So I was like, I'll take a year out and I'll do something else, and so I did an MA in journalism. And while I was doing that, I started writing for a couple of American sites. One which is massively .joystick, which is now, Joystick is now defunct. But they're now called Massively Overpowered, and they're like an MMO site, and also MMORPG.com. So I started doing stuff for them, some reviews, and that was fun. And then I ended up just kind of harassing Dan Kilby, poor sad Dan. I've been like, give me work experience, and I eventually got it. And then I had 2 weeks there. Second week, Krupa broke his leg, and so I was like, well, do you want me to stay for a little bit? So I stayed for another week, and then when a job came up as an admin assistant, I applied, and then yeah, just stayed, just kind of rolled on into editorial assistant, junior editor, and then news editor a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how most people know you, that become as being the sort of the man behind the keyboard with all of IGN UK's news.
Yeah, exactly. And we also said back in when Stuart Reed was around, before he died, we all kind of, me and him were kind of too tasked with figuring out how the news videos were going to work when we started. So we did that a lot, and now obviously Rory's kind of taking that on. But yeah, so it's been like I've done a lot of different things, which has been great, and hopefully some of that stuff will stand me in good stead for now. What's going on in the future? So we'll see.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to go on to some of these Duck Hunter questions. As you know, the Duck Hunters are quite blunt at times.
Yeah.
I'm not apologising for them because you've got nothing to apologise for.
Yeah.
But the first question really is, it's not really a question. It's, well, I thought you were dead. What's it like being a zombie?
It's good. Well, as I say, we were drinking quite a lot last night, so I do feel quite zombified. But
You felt unbelievable, right?
I know. I feel like death.
That's what I said. I said zombie-lievable.
Oh, zombie-lievable. Enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like a good fun. It's all right. It's kind of just a bit. Well, as I say, sinking in.
Thinking it. Well, that's from Daniel Thompson. Next, Callum asks, well, who was the final straw to make you leave?
No, and it was kind of just one of these things. I've been doing it for so long. Rory, let's just say Rory.
Yeah, we'll just believe Rory. Why not?
Yeah, I can't deal with that anymore.
Too many cats?
Too many cats, too much, too often.
Yeah. If you could be any Final Fantasy character, who would you be and why? And that's from Brad Monroe.
Ooh. That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
I quite like Waka from Final Fantasy X.
Ooh,
I
good
think.
choice.
I think I'll go with him. Just because, everyone loves an underdog, and he's a bit, happy-go-lucky, and in the end he gets the girl, but it's tricky for him. Yeah, I think Waka. I like Waka, although he's a bit ginger, which, can't have it.
Well, you've got to take the bad, you know what I mean, with the good. So
Yeah. Okay, I'll take Waka then, despite this. Head die comes to spirit.
Richard Page asks, are you really a prince?
Am I really a prince? No,
Yeah.
sadly not. I don't know who came up with that. I think that was Alex, just taking the piss out of the fact that I'm rather posh. So, yeah, I think it was Alex. So I have him to thank for that, I guess.
Okay. Tom Marameros, would you rather have Whatsits for lips or a quaver for a nose? He asks us every time.
Whatsits for lips or quavers for a nose? I think I'd have Whatsits for lips because I quite like Whatsits, and then you can lick your lips and it tastes really nice. Whereas I don't like quavers. I'm assuming if it's quavers for a nose, you just smell cheese all the time.
Do you know what's really freaky about that? Rory said exactly the same thing as you.
Really?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Twinsies.
Mm-hmm.
I might actually put the videos alongside one another and just see.
Oh no! Oh, it's awful. It's all. Everyone says this. Everyone said this in the office as well. Like you ask both of us questions, and you tend to get the same poorly thought out answer. So
See, quavers, they were a British thing, right?
yeah, they're kind of like they're like little kind of wavy things, and they smell of they're cheesy, right? I mean, I don't like
Oh,
them.
okay.
Yeah. I don't
Like
know.
cheese doodles or whatever. That's what we have in Norway, cheese doodles. Or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
Is that even a thing? Quavers.
Quavers.
Why is it called quavers if it's cheese related? Because ours are cheese doodles. That makes sense.
That does make sense. I will
Yeah.
give you that. I mean, they were. It's not a musical thing. You know what I mean? They don't look like musical quavers. It's very odd.
I'm going to have to Google this now and find out exactly why before this podcast ends, right?
It has to be an entertainment interview.
Sorry for asking all the horrible, super difficult questions, guys. Hard-hitting journalism here.
Yeah.
Rough, yeah.
Adam Bond asks, is there any circumstances in which you would return to World of Warcraft?
Ooh, my horrible addiction. I've never really kicked. It's one of these things that usually I get really, really drunk, and when I come home from a night out, I'm like, I'll just subscribe just for a month and play a bit more. And so that's happened like about 6 months ago. I think I'd probably return. I'll go back when Legion comes out, just to see what it's like. But in terms of full time, what annoys me is that what I really, really used to like about it was the raiding.
Yeah.
And I kind of left when my guild broke down because I kind of lost you play with friends, right? So I was going to do that, keep playing, but it was different raiding with different people. And now, unfortunately, I just don't really have the time to raid. Like, it's so time consuming, and for me, like, looking for raid doesn't do anything. So I'll go back, but never to the degree that I was, which was like consumed.
Isn't that everybody though?
Yeah, I know. I do miss it at times, and it's true that like no other MMO really fills the void for me. Like, I play quite a lot of Guild Wars 2, but that's just because it's really dip in, dip out, like, and it doesn't demand too much of me. But then sometimes when I want like a really hard fix of it, it's lacking. So I don't know, tricky.
Raymond Chan asks, can you down a pint?
Of what?
Doesn't specify.
Yeah, well, see, that's a valid question to ask.
Pint of water.
Yeah, I can down pints of things. I don't drink beer. So
prove it.
I don't have a pint glass around. I don't drink beer. But I've downed a pint of cider before. So yeah, I can down a pint. Lads, torpedoes and everything. Yeah, I can do that.
What would you rather down, a pint of milk or beer?
Milk.
Really?
Yeah, I like milk.
Ooh, it's a pint though, and you have to do it really quickly. I was just like, I don't know.
I mean, it's quite thick, isn't it? Wait, it's milk that's on. It's not like off milk.
Somewhere in the middle.
Ooh.
Oh, has it got lumps in it?
Ish. It's just like, well, no, it doesn't have lumps, but it's like you look at it and you smell it and you're like, something's not right. You know what I mean?
Don't do this. Like, I had it when I was like younger.
As I said, I'm the hard-hitting journalist here. Tough.
Oh, when I was younger,
questions.
I made tea with like off milk and got a huge lump of kind of cream in my mouth at the end, which is a phrase that longs for it. Like,
yeah, don't give me ammunition like this, Luke. Please don't.
I was gonna say, why did that not a phrase? Oh.
Right, let's move on. Okay, Reese Harley's got a sort of double question here. What was working for IGN? What you expected it to be before you started there?
Ooh, actually, I don't think so. Really, I think there's this huge perception that we spend all day playing games, and you know, the perks of the job are sometimes you get to go to events and play games and all of this, but in actual fact, like, you know, I mean, Krupa is probably the one who, for his job, has to play the most games. I think I've only ever played a game once at work in 3.5 years there. Like, I just don't do it. Krupa has to, for reviews, play games at work, but often he's so busy, he ends up, you know, just working at work and then having to play these games for review in his spare time at home. So it's different. Like, it was also one of these things, like, you definitely do get preferential treatment as IGN though, like, as an outlet, which is great. But you know, other than that, no, there was a lot more like work and less more like earning money to play games, which I thought it would be.
Well, fair enough, yeah. Well, I
Still
was in the office one day when you were there, and you were just furiously typing away with your headphones on, focused. So I'll vouch for you there.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's awful. Like, you know, I'm just sitting there like actually working, and I'm like, why did I do this? Like, what did I think I was doing?
And he also asks, do you feel IGN has changed since you started there?
Oh yeah, definitely, hugely. So it used to be very US centric, and kind of led by, and I'd say more personality led, like, when we had Greg and Colin and all of that.
Yeah.
And also, certainly the way it used to work, the structure we had in the States was, we had Ryan McCaffrey as Xbox editor. You had Rich George as Nintendo. You had Colin and Greg doing the PlayStation channel. And it meant, some people preferred that because it meant, you have specialist voices that you could look at. But it really made it quite difficult because we don't have that set up in the UK or Australia.
Yeah.
So kind of cross-team communication was a nightmare. And so now what they've done instead is to have a previews editor across the board, a reviews editor across the board, whose job is to kind of like standardize it. And then people work on different platforms. And I think it's made it a lot better. It's certainly made it a lot easier for us all to kind of communicate. But like the structure, I don't know how much that's probably the biggest change you guys may have seen, got a glimpse at outside. But on the inside, that was huge.
Yeah, interesting. I've got a really, as Sophia calls it, hard-hitting journalism question, and I'm sorry to have to ask this question. But the hosts of the superhero show have both been infected with a deadly toxin by an evil megalomaniac. You have enough antidote to save one of them. Who do you save and why?
So, superhero show is going to be... Who are we going to have on it? So we've got what? Tilly. We've got Krupa.
Yeah.
Does Alex ever do superhero show? He does sometimes, doesn't he?
I'm not... I don't watch the superhero show, so I'm the wrong person to ask.
Right, let's say leave it between Tilly and Krupa. I'm going to have to say Krupa merely because he works very, very hard, which means I can get away with not working so hard. So I quite like the idea of like him surviving, and then he'll owe me a lot. So then he will work even harder, and I'll have to work even less.
But so you heard it here first. Chris Tilly is lazy. Right. Jimmy Martin asked, what part of Swansea do you originate from?
So I was born in Swansea in Morriston Hospital. So on the maternity ward, and then I was raised in a place called Porthcawl in South Wales, and then moved to a place called Berkhamsted in Hertfordshire when I was about 13, which is where this accent has come from.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah, like the incredibly posh accent. Everyone's like, "You're not Welsh." Yeah.
Does anyone at IGN have a normal accent?
Not really. I mean, Alex is probably the most normal, I think, because he's like, because he was born in London, but then I think, because he used to do Games Master, on TV and stuff, and so kind of got his TV voice, which is very just normal, like PR voice, so RP rather. So. See,
now in my head, I just hear that what is it called, like the accent that they used to teach people in America for the television shows back in the old days. Everybody sounded the same, like way back.
Like the time adverts and stuff. All right,
what?
Before that. Like the time adverts, you're talking way before that.
No, like way back when TV was like the new thing. You remember like all those like old ads and stuff from America, like radio shows? Everybody sounded the same, right?
Yeah.
That was the accent. Yeah, they learned that accent, and it was a mix of British and American accents.
Oh, so it's all very clipped.
What?
Where it's all very clipped, and they talk in received pronunciation, and
Yeah, and they taught that. Is that normal? Is that what you guys are defining this as now?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the idea of, like, I try and make myself seem a little bit more edgy by doing what's called estuary English. Basically, we drop the T's in words. So instead of saying butter, you'll say butter and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, I'm a little bit street, but not really street. But yeah.
Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Exactly. It's like, Harry Potter. And so it's that kind of thing, which totally not me. I'm like, look, I'm not proper. I drop letters.
I got this already.
Yeah, you're nailing it.
Yeah.
Sophia, you've got the most mixed up accent of them all.
I know. I know, it's a mess. I can't help it.
Lee Chestnut Lavage, or stupid surname as we call him, would you rather have the head of a dolphin and be able to talk out of your normal head, but be only able to communicate with dolphins? Okay, let's just skip by that. Jonathan Henderson, what's it like being really, really ridiculously good looking? I think I'll take this one. It's not hard. It's
I was going to say you'll have to ask
Jonathan.
someone else. I don't know.
No, I'm not joking. So what's it like, Luke?
I don't know. I don't know. Look, having this face is alright. It's just, but everyone I hate certain things about my face. It's just normal, isn't it? Everyone hates things about them faces.
You know, Zoolander would be disappointed if he heard you say that.
I know, right?
Mhm. You gotta own it. Center for ants. Oh my gosh.
We asked if you can list everyone that you've been compared to as a lookalike.
Me?
Yes.
Tom Daly, I get quite a lot. Javier Hernandez, I get. Jamie Cullum, I had a while ago, which I thought was a bit weird. Is that? I think they're the main ones I get.
You got one Britain's Got Talent last year. Someone.
Oh yeah. Oh, someone. Our old PR guy used to work for us, a guy called Will Geyer. He said I look like the guy from Mr. Robot. Is it Rami Malek or something?
I know, I don't know the name, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who looks a bit like his eyes are quite sunken. He looks a little bit amphibious, but yeah.
You look like Jay Hernandez, though.
Yeah,
Do you know who that is?
I get that. Chicharito, yeah, whatever his name is, yeah.
I don't know, something. He's a Suicide Squad, right?
Oh, no, that's Jai Courtney, isn't it?
Jai Courtney?
I'm pretty sure Jay Hernandez is in that as well. He doesn't play like a big role, I think, but he's in it.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I will look him up.
Javier Hernandez is a footballer, used to play for Man United.
That's not the one I'm talking about.
I don't know.
I'm not talking about a football player. Soccer.
Soccer.
No, he's playing like El Diablo or something.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know. I think so. Not confirmed.
Not confirmed.
Arjun asks how you feel about the multi-part Final Fantasy VII game and the fact that it seems to be handled by a company outside of Square Enix.
Ooh. So, I've actually known about it being handled by a company outside of Square Enix for a while.
Yeah.
But we haven't been able to tell you guys because we haven't been able to get anyone to go on record about it.
Sure.
I thought we were best friends.
I know, right? But we've known for a while. We need someone to go on record. So, anyway, I don't know. I'm not too concerned. I actually think, personally, has shown itself recently hasn't made some of the best decisions in the world. So the fact that maybe it's slightly being handled by other people doesn't really worry me. I'd actually be I'd still be worried if it was being handled by Square, to be honest. Having said that, my deep dark confession is when Final Fantasy VII first came out, I didn't play it, and then I played. I think 9 was the first one that I kind of got in the Final Fantasy door on, and then did 10, and then I did like the later ones, and then I've gone back and I've done 8. 7, by the time I got to it, it's like watching Star Wars and knowing Darth Vader's Luke's father, with the stuff that happens to Eric.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? And it's just like it kind of lost that emotional punch for me. And the graphics were so dire. I just think. But I never have actually finished Final Fantasy VII. I mean, I know the story. I never finished it. And so for me, I'm not going to have a lot to compare it to. And I'm looking forward to kind of now seeing it actually play out regardless. The multi-episode approach is something that I'm a bit nervous about. But we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I'm the same sort of idea as you. I just think it's. If you can make more money, why not?
Yeah,
but fans are always going to be. It's a business at the end of the day. But yeah. Adam Wrigley says that the only thing that he's learned from Prince Karmali is to always pee after sex. I don't understand that reference. Right? Okay, I don't understand that reference. Have I missed this? But
Oh no, basically, I don't remember when I said it, but it's true. You should always pee after sex to avoid urinary tract infections.
Okay, great tip. See, we're learning.
The more you know.
See?
Sophia,
Exactly.
you're glad you came on this?
Oh, I'm so stoked. I'm learning so much. You have no idea.
Sorry if I butcher your name, but Tayo says, will you stay in the Facebook group?
Yes, of course. I'm a duck hunter. So, yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. Kaelin asks, will you miss Rory? Well, you did say that you'd be the one person that's why you left. So.
Yeah, in all honesty, last night at these drinks, when I was absolutely hammered, we did get a bit emotional. It was like, oh, we must stay in touch. But I'm sure we will. Like even when it's the weekend or something, he'll send me pictures of cats and videos and stuff. So I'm sure that's not going to stop. I think I picked him up from now until forever. So.
Who would play you? This is just from me. Who would play you in the Luke Rory fanfic movie?
God, as long as there's a promise that I never have to watch it. Oh gosh. Well, let's say Rami Malek, the guy from Mr. Robot, because he looks like I had sex with a frog. Close enough.
I think I've got a title for this now.
Oh God.
Who would play Rory then?
Who would play Rory? Oh, he's got that. He would be really, really happy if I said Zac Efron circa High School Musical era.
So not current sort of Zac Efron. It has to be.
Well, actually, he'd be really happy if I said current Zac Efron. Tell you what.
I was going to say current.
Yeah, well, current Zac Efron in terms of muscles, because Rory thinks he's muscly. Okay. And then I would say, but the old hair, the kind of old hair. Rory's very about his Link-like hair. So.
Meta, as in the blogger on our website, Metacritic, asks, will you read his blog?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll link you. There you go, Meta. Yeah. Asked him. You'll do anything for one more view, by the way. Right. What's the worst game you've ever had to review from Colin Fairs?
Oh, I had some really, really dire ones when I was doing the MMO stuff. Because MMORPG.com basically was encyclopedic in terms of its coverage. So any browser game that could be deemed an MMO, and most of the ones I've reviewed don't even exist anymore. So it's like there's no point in me mentioning them to you. I only did one full review for IGN because the problem is it's timing. I do so much about my special subject is obviously MMOs and RPGs. And they take so much time, it then makes it nigh on impossible for me to do anything else. So I reviewed Marvel Heroes, which is kind of like, it was created by David Brevett, who's the guy who did Diablo. And it's basically it's the Marvel version of that. And I found it really uninspiring and crap. And then he immediately released a massive update. Now it's Marvel Heroes 2015, and it's quite good. And we still get pestered. We get pestered almost daily to re-review it. We probably should at some stage, but I never had the wherewithal to go back to it.
Ah, that's an interesting one. The rest of them are just, I don't think. Oh, well, we've got one more, sorry. Colin Fairs asks, can you sing Prince Karmali to the tune of Prince Charming?
I imagine you can. I'm not going to. No way.
That is an answer. Can you?
Yeah.
Right, so we've got to do our really podcast regular questions. And that is, what is the biggest animal you can knock out with one punch? Since you ignored me at 300.
Oh, what is the biggest animal that I could knock out with a punch?
Yeah.
I bet you Rory said something really stupid, didn't he? I bet you said something like a horse. You can't knock it.
I'm sure he said an elephant if it was tied down. No, was that Simon Miller?
With one punch?
Yeah.
How? With one punch?
Yeah.
I mean, a dog.
A
I think
dog.
A dog's quite tough. Maybe something what's a bit bigger. A deer. No, a gazelle.
A
The
gazelle.
You're
gazelle's
just
quite-
like you're punching the like cutest animals, like a dog, or a deer, gazelle. Jeez,
I'm deliberately choosing ones that can't fight back.
that's horrible.
That's tactics, my friend. Don't fight
What
hard.
did
Fight
you should
smart.
have said some like horrible, like crappy animal nobody likes, like a crow. You'd be like, oh, I don't care. You're
Well, I
like
can
a
also
dog.
punch out a crow. It's just not very big.
Jim, you're doing better than Jim Trinker from Video Gamer. He said an urban fox.
An urban fox.
That's random.
They're the same size as regular foxes, although they're like scrappier.
Yeah, I was going to say that. They've got more street smarts. And the classic, I know you may have answered this before, but where do you keep your ketchup? In the fridge or the cupboard?
Oh, in the bin, because ketchup is the blood of Satan.
Yes! Someone else has bin. I am so happy.
Yeah, no, it's disgusting. I'm not getting on board with it.
You're now the favourite person that used to work for IGN, that I know.
Yay!
Yay! Well, look, stay on for a minute after this, but thank you so much for coming on and answering all the Duck Hunters questions. I suppose we should say, on behalf of the community here, we're all going to miss hearing your voice on the podcast. You've been fantastic over the years, and I think the whole community will miss you.
Oh, thanks, guys. No, it's been amazing, and you guys have been incredible too. So yeah, no, keep up the good work.
Fantastic. Well, look, thanks very much for joining us. And
I
you
hope
too,
to speak
Sophia.
soon.
Yeah, hopefully
And
we'll speak soon.
You're in tune to Out of Lives. www.outoflives.net.
You can't handle the truth!
I'm too sexy for this shirt. Too sexy for this shirt. It hurts.
So if people haven't switched off by now, then they really need to subscribe to some new podcasts.
I hear Out of the Crossfire is good, and Out of Reality is going to be pretty good, and
Who
Out
the
of
hell-
Nowhere is amazing.
Who told you Out of the Crossfire was good? Adam. Yeah.
I enjoy listening to Paul's voice. It gets me off every night.
Wow.
I'm going to
Wow.
edit this and send it to them.
Don't.
Please do.
Also, as soon as I hit stop broadcast, this is on YouTube.